What's up, party people? Buddha says what's up. I say what's up. I hope you're having a fantastic Wednesday. We're sprinkling a little bit of love on you. And what we're going to be talking about today is something big that actually happened in this country that may have a huge impact on the rest of us for the better. So let's go ahead and get into it. So for those of you that don't know, President Trump passed a law that basically states that the federal government will no longer look at a collegiate education when selecting people to work with inside the federal government, but will rather rely on skills. And I wanted to make a video on this because this is something that is going to create a huge change in our economy, and it's something that is going to help change for the better. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about this. So love the guy or hate the guy, this is a fantastic thing for our society, and there's a couple of different reasons why I say that. First and foremost, when you take a look at our student loan debt and how much our country is actually in debt because of student loans, this is a very, very serious problem. It's worse than what we saw in 2008. And unfortunately, college kids are going into huge amounts of debt. They're unable to pay that debt throughout their whole lifespan. And then, unfortunately, when they do get done with school, a lot of times they're not using that degree for what they expected to use it for. Therefore, they've paid all this money for this education that they were hoping was going to take them where they wanted to go, only to figure out that that piece of paper that they just got, that they spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on, is useless, and now they're not going to get into that career field. So first and foremost, the reason why I think this bill is really going to help is because what we're starting to prioritize is people with passion and people with the skills to get the job done. And that's really what we need. We don't need somebody who has a lot of money or their family has a lot of money who now they have a college education, but they don't have the skills necessary to lead in that specific career path. So I think that's fantastic, but also we're giving opportunity to people who have a passion for what they want, but don't necessarily have the financial backing to get there. So I think that this is a very tremendous thing from a student loan debt standpoint, because those kids that do have the skills, now they don't have to worry about going to college and being in debt for, again, hundreds of thousands of dollars to ultimately get that job that they really want to get, that they've been excluded from because they don't have the backing of an educational institution. So that's the first thing. Now the second thing is that what this is really going to do is this is going to create more opportunity and growth in people's mindset. And here's what I mean by that. This is no longer a playing field of who has the most education, because education from a institution standpoint is far different than self-education, because the institution is going to give you book smarts. It's going to give you a history of how things are done, but it's not going to give you real life examples. It's not going to allow you to get your hands dirty, if you will, to understand that craft and that art form in that career field. Whereas with the skills portion, you actually have to go out and get your hands dirty. You're not relying on book smarts to get you where you want to go. You're focused on real life situations and skills that you've built up. On top of that, in order to get those skills, you have to self-educate. So it creates this environment for mindset growth for our society, because a lot of times, unfortunately, what's happening is once people get done with college, they completely stop learning. They don't move any further. They halt themselves and they say, this is as far as I'm going to go. Well, when you start to do that, you've now stopped your growth period in your mind, and you're not learning new skills. You're not learning things that are going to help you ultimately get where you want to go. So if we have a society that's more skills-based than education-based, what's going to happen is that skilled worker is going to have to continuously educate themselves throughout the rest of their life to fine-tune those skills and get better at those skills, ultimately making them better at what they do, ultimately leaving a better quality product regardless of what they're doing, and leaving a idea of betterment for that specific position. And also what this is going to do is this is going to cut off inequality. Unfortunately, right now, what's happening is people that have a education and have the financial backing to do so are looked at a lot more heavily than people who maybe don't. And that's the unfortunate part. We have a huge, vast portion of our society that wants an opportunity to get ahead, but unfortunately isn't given that opportunity because they didn't have the money to go to school, or they weren't smart enough to get into this specific school, or maybe they just didn't have the social backing to get into that school, or whatever the case is, they weren't given the same opportunity that somebody who was given that opportunity had. And therefore there's a separation there. You have one person that's up here, if you will, and then another person who doesn't stand a chance that's over here. And unfortunately this person over here will never get an opportunity to be in that field because the company or the government, if you will, the federal job market is not looking at them, because the first thing that they're looking at is, does this person have a degree? And if they do have a degree, what school does it come from? Although this person might be a little bit more passionate than this person up here is, therefore leading to a better quality of product that that person's doing, or a better job that that person's doing as compared to the college educated person. So what this is going to do is this is going to shorten that distance, and it's going to allow people who didn't have that opportunity to get that higher education to now get those jobs that were ultimately restricted from them before. So I think this is a tremendous opportunity for people to start leveling the playing field, if you will, and creating a society where everybody's equal and there's no distance in regards to inequality between all of us. It gives everybody the same chance to get wherever they want to go. Those are a couple of different reasons why I think this bill is extremely important, and I think ultimately what it's going to do is it's going to create a society of togetherness, because no longer are we separate, no longer are we having to go into hundreds of millions of dollars worth of debt to get where we want to go. And no longer are we being separated by the fact that maybe we weren't smart enough to get into Yale or Harvard or wherever to get that ultimate job, but we do have the passion to get the job done. And that's what's really going to make this bill something great, because what we're going to do is we're going to create a whole new society of skills and passion over education, which is going to be huge and is going to create a lot new opportunities for people. So tell me what you guys think. Do you think this is a good idea, or do you think this is a bad idea, and why? And of course, if you do like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Subscribe as well if you haven't subscribed. I'm mind blown as to why there's so many people that watch these videos and haven't quite subscribed yet, because we're always talking about stuff like this, and obviously your feedback is vital, and you seeing these videos is going to put you on the forefront of a higher vibration and ultimately getting where you want to go. So smash it. It's right there. It's right there. It's right next to Buddha, right next to the big and powerful Buddha. Other than that, hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your week. Peace.